Hello everyone, welcome back to more AEW on TEW2020. We are here in the third week of December 2021. We have our Dynamite main evented by the six-way ladder match for the Face of the Revolution. But we start off with Dark as the Bone Busters, which is what I'm calling Team Tully now, because I want to have it away from just Team Blank. Defeat Brock Anderson and the Von Erichs when Tony Deppen pins Ross Von Erich. Brock Anderson, the rookie, Weak Link, right there. After this, Maki Ito defeats Danny Jordan with the cute driver. And the girls of the Rose Garden rush the ring after the match and beat down Maki. Kip Sabian rushes out to shoulder block Abaddon off the ramp. She probably crashes through a table. As the girls smear lipstick on Maki's face haphazardly to make her look uglier. After they're done, they bring Maki's face up to the camera, laughing and telling the camera that Maki isn't cute. She's just a tramp who asks for constant validation because she's a failure at everything. It's a very petty feud between the Rose Garden and Maki, but sometimes you need a petty feud. After this, Vicky Guerrero is with Daga, Homicide, and Thunder Rosa, the Latino World Order. She talks about how they will all take their places in the wrestling pantheon of AEW, and especially Thunder Rosa will. Thunder Rosa is the most overlooked wrestler on the roster, and she's someone that will take out anyone in her path to dethroning Mayu or whoever is the champion once Heyman wakes up and puts Rosa in a title match. Vicky just putting over her people. Jessamine Duke then defeats Elena Black. Darby Allin defeats Brandon Cutler, gets a 90. This is the next few matches and the main event are a series of just basically warm-up matches for the TNT title match. Takahashi defeats Homicide, and then Britt Baker hosts an episode of The Waiting Room with AJ Styles as the guest. She asks AJ why the club is so important. AJ gets offended at this. He goes on a rant about every title that was won while he was in charge of the club. He makes sure not to mention any of the titles that were only taking place during anyone else's run as leader of the club. And he says that just being a part of the Bullet Club proves that you're a star in the world of pro wrestling, which is why Britt isn't in the club, and Britt is understandably irritated by being insulted on her own show, so she motions for Cynthia Regal to go up behind AJ, take him out, probably with like a chair shot, wooden chair, whatever, but she's taken up by Priscilla Kelly, who rushes onto the set. AJ gets offended by the attempted attack and leaves, telling the camera to, basically warning the backstage, hey, no one should ever go on this show, ever again, but they will. Ricochet defeats Shawn Spears. Nyla Rose defeats Max the Impaler. And then Garza Jr., the TNT champion, defeats Luchasaurus, non-title match. Pretty easy. Pretty quick show. Now let's get into Dynamite, which is where the real fun begins. We start off our Dynamite with the VIP Club versus FTW as MJF picks up the win, submitting Jay Briscoe. 93 rated performance, very nice there from Mr. Friedman. After the match, Brian Cage rushes into the ring and quickly takes out the North before powerbombing MJF. Taz laughs and then gets on the mic and he says, alright, fine, you beat the Briscoes and Jeff Cobb, but there's something that you're never gonna be able to do, and that's get one over the machine, Brian Cage. So next week, you'll go on one-on-one with Cage, and you're gonna get yourself broken in half, pansy. Very simple segment. Apologies if I rush through this episode. I actually wanted to, I'm just recording all of December in one day, and I want to get to the end, so apologies if this is a little bit of a rushed show. Out of this, Anna Jay and Ty Conti are seen in the backstage area with Anna Jay talking to the camera. She says, Mayu Iwatani, seems like I'm your #1 contender now, and I get the lucky chance to beat you at the final show of the year. So I'm ready to make this official. You might be the star, this person that's been given a chance time and time again without deserving it, but I am the future of this women's division. So you know what? I'm going to take that belt, and I'm going to be the greatest champion in AEW history. Man, woman, tag team, it doesn't matter. The Exalted One, Brody Lee, may have been a champion, but even he knows that this was a disappointing run. So now is the time of the Nightmare Slayer, Anna Jay, to bring pride to the Dark Order. So yeah, that's going to be our women's title match, Anna Jay versus Mayu Iwatani. After this, we return to the ring where we have a contract signing between FTR and Proud and Powerful, hosted by Glenn Jacobs. Proceedings are very calm, little incident happening, and both teams signing the contract. Kurt Angle insists that while PNP are good, FTR are going to be two-time champions. Santana and Ortiz say that won't happen because of their determination to win. They all shake hands, but after they do, the Visions music plays, and the former tag team champions march towards the ring. They're stopped by the American Wolves rushing out, and the Wolves are saying that, Vision, they're not allowed to get involved with all this, but Lance replies by powerbombing both of them. To get into the ring, Lance squares up with Glenn Jacobs, they're face-to-face, and Jake Roberts, he has a mic, and he says that since they've never lost the titles, they rightfully will be the first challengers to the tag championships in 2022. They leave without fighting FTR or Proud and Powerful, and assure them that they won't get involved with the match. Yeah, just contract signing. So far, both of our contract signings have gone surprisingly smoothly. After this, we see Dalton Castle with the entirety of Troop the Elite, looking immaculate as the rest of the group is bandaged up. So Dalton Castle, he's not even got a scratch on him. Dalton Castle says that Joe is a disgrace for ruining such an elegant showing of class and pomp, and that he doesn't deserve to ever see the Phantasmagoria of the Troubled World title ever again. But because Dalton Castle is nice, and because he loves the show, he'll grant Joe another chance at the title at a point of Dalton's own choosing. So eventually, Samoa Joe will get that chance. Probably not next week. The reason I worded that like that is so that in case there is time, I can put it in there, but if not, no problem. After this, Jordynne Grace defeats Shida. Shida's stunned by her loss and what it means for her career in AEW, judging by what she said when she initially made the open challenge, which of course was, if she loses, she's leaving. But as Jordynne Grace is celebrating her massive win, Antonio Banks' music plays, and he comes to the ramp with a microphone. He says, "Shida, I know the stipulation you put on yourself for losing these open challenges, but unfortunately, or in truth, very fortunately for the bottom line, and for this company, that was not a stipulation approved by us in management. However, we're not going to leave you unpunished for forcing us to mention this at a time like this, because obviously it does seem like a cop-out. So, to begin the year of 2022, you will be the last-placed wrestler in the entire AEW women's division. If you want to earn your title back, you'll need to work for it, and you need to know that threatening to leave isn't going to get you anywhere." So yeah, Jordynne Grace, I kind of wanted to have a big one for her. She actually just re-signed with AEW on an exclusive deal. WWE were coming after her. I picked her up, exclusive deal. There is someone that will be leaving, however. We'll get to them eventually, but Jordynne Grace picks up a huge win over Shida. Now this, we cut back to the adventures in the Hardy compound, right where we left off last time. The group with Sting is interrupted by Sheridan and Joey Janela, who rush in. Joey spears both members of Top Flight out a window, not to be seen again. Obviously, we can't see where they're crashing down to. There's, probably some pretty big crash pads right where they would be landing. Sheridan stands above Garrison, Johnson, and Hurst. The three younger workers fight to distract Sheridan until Sting rushes in with a Stinger Splash. Then orders all of the guys with him to look for the crate that Top Flight were talking about in order to stop the cult. So yeah, we're rolling to an end here. And Adam Cole, speaking of the cult, manages to pick up a win over Penta. And he's just very calmly sits in the middle of the ring. He says, "I know what they're doing. They want us to leave the Hardy compound? Well, so be it. They can have it. I don't care for the compound anymore. I don't need it. I'm already back. I've already become the Risen One. No, instead, I want something different. I want them to come to me. I want to see them scratch and claw at me, trying to take me down. They can have Rebby, they can have those kids, they can have that building. But I just need to show them what they're doing and what will happen when they mess with me. My cult will never fall. My people will never fall. And we will never show weakness." So Adam Cole, he's giving up the Hardy compound. They took it over in order to resurrect Adam Cole, but now, they were using it as an HQ. They don't really need it anymore. So Adam Cole, he's going to, he's just going to give them the Hardy compound. They don't need it anymore. Then we just get a hype package for next week, just going over all the matches that we will have. Our main event will be Pac versus Rami Sabe in a world title match. Then we have a Fatal 4-Way for the TNT Championship between Garza, Darby Allin, Hiromu Takahashi, and Ricochet. We have a very interesting tag team match of Fergal Devitt and Kenny Omega against AJ Styles and Carl Anderson. We'll have MJF taking on Brian Cage, and we will also have we'll have the tag team match of Proud and Powerful versus FTR to determine the new tag team champions, and we will also for sure have Anna Jay versus Mayu Iwatani for the women's world title. Pretty stacked show. Some of the matches are going to end up being fairly short, just because it's TV time, but still, very big show coming up. And in our ladder match, surprisingly, Vikingo actually picks up the win. So, he retrieves the item, wins the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Phoenix gets the top performance with an 85, followed by Cassidy. Vikingo doing pretty nice. Ricky Starks, the one that fell behind. Vikingo, this will be a huge gain for his popularity, and now he can challenge for any title that he wants at any point in time. 75 rated show. This is, it's an alright show, but really this is just going to be leading up to next week, which is when things will really kick off, and I'm excited for that show. So again, short episode this time. Next episode, because it's going to be very match heavy, probably going to be pretty short there as well, but we're just going to be flying ahead into 2022, because then I can actually reset my records and not be very far behind, but we'll see what goes on in the next episode.